think that even that applies to all aspects of life. And what really pushed me to like learn these lessons, again, I'm not like a psychologist or educated like that, but I've lived a lot of life and I've had a lot of ups and downs. And in 2018, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. I was in the hospital for my Olympia prep at about 4 weeks out for a week. And I came out and I didn't know if I was going to be able to compete. I didn't know if I'd be even healthy ever again. I thought everything was going to be taken away from me. And I got through it. I came second at that Olympia somehow, and it was like a battle to the death of numbing everything and just suppressing anything I feel and just trying to focus on bodybuilding. And I did that for about a year and a half. And this whole mindset I built around it was this fear that I'm going to get sick again. I need to quit bodybuilding because I'm going to get sick. I don't have control over my health. I'm going to get sick. And then just this constant fear was looming over my head, because if I got sick, then I could be like, I knew I'd get sick. You know, like it was good. I was bound for everything to be taken away from me. It almost happened last year. It's going to happen next year. And I was just living in that to create, almost prepare myself. To create a little safety blanket, like you said, to just be like, okay, when it happens, I can say, I told you so, I was right, and I'm ready for it. Rather than leaning into actually enjoying life and kind of moving past that. So I had to really like reframe my mindset. And I went through this whole journey of like, after that I turned into, you won't get sick. Trying to convince myself, I'm not going to get sick. I'm
Denial.
not getting sick. Denial, exactly. But then you're living in a sense of lack and avoidance. And then you're also constantly thinking of that. And when you're thinking of that constantly, it puts your body in this state of reaction where you're waiting for something to happen. And when something happens, you're like, oh, you know, like, fuck, it's against what I keep telling myself. And then I switched to telling myself, no, you are healthy. Instead of thinking not and in lack, what do you want? Be like, you are healthy. You are going to be okay. All this stuff. And then that still didn't really make me feel better because I'm still kind of unknowing. And then I literally came to the conclusion that I don't fucking know. I was like, the only truth right now is that I don't know what's going to happen, but there are measures I can take to take control of my health as best as I can, and the rest is up to the universe. But if the more I stress about it, the more I think about it, it's creating more of this state of reaction in myself. It's taking me out of the present moment to be able to enjoy and perform the way I know I can. I'm not able to enjoy it. And I still battle, of course, sometimes. I didn't just forget about it. But just the understanding and baseline that I don't know the future, so I have to let go of some of those things. But the only thing that really helped my mind get through all that times, and I mean, continuously now when I compete and I'm like, am I going to get sick? Be like, I don't know. But when it happens, you're going to deal with it and you'll be okay. So just enjoy this moment right now. Definitely more leaning into the anxious, more rather than depressed. And that was more like just projecting the future based off unhealed wounds from the past and fears of what happened in the past was going to repeat itself. But now I think my inner voice is just, and it's a constant work I'm doing. I think mental health in general is like putting in reps. It's not just like, oh, I'm good. It's like continuously giving yourself the love you need mentally and physically. And I'm just trying to build a lot more empathy and compassion for myself. Because I didn't directly shame myself, being like, you're not good enough, you're a piece of shit, all this shit. But I would be like, I expected more of myself. Like we were talking with public speaking, I'm like, you just won 4 Olympias and now you're literally like heart racing, can barely breathe because you're about to talk in front of like a few hundred people. Like you should be able to do this, you're better than this. And that's a form of shame in itself, of expecting something out of myself that maybe I'm not ready for, or just rather than accepting who I am and where I'm at in my life. So I think just building that compassion and being like accepting who I am, and who I am isn't what this perception that maybe people have built with me. And you know, I believe you had this guy on, Peter Crone. I love that guy.
Yeah,
he has this quote and he says, life presents you as people and circumstances to show you where you're not free. And I think that the way I spoke about my inner voice and this expectation of myself with where I wasn't free, and then life put me in this position of millions of people with this idolized perception of someone they look up to is calm, cool, collected, has his shit together. CBUM, he's so good, he's up there. And I was like, I really have to be that now. Like, I better be fucking perfect now. You know, my dad was like that growing up too. So I had this like, okay, men are stoic and they don't feel anything and they weather the storm and they're good. And I was like a very sentient being, like emotional. And I was like, fuck. So I kind of denied that part of myself for a while. But now being able to just integrate that and accepting it is who I am, and being able to show it more and allow it to come up more in situations. Like I almost try and twist some conversations to like allow myself to be like, I'm not perfect, I have anxiety, just to like show that it's there, and then being like, well, now this facade's kind of gone. The presentation isn't to be what people want me to be, it's just to be myself, and whatever happens after that can fuck off. So I guess overall the inner voice in myself I'm building is just more compassion and empathy.